Hey guys. Okay, I got a message for you, and I'm gonna actually tag I think she's on TikTok. I'm gonna share this on YouTube as well. I always do, but I believe she's on TikTok, and I'm gonna tag her in this. But I'm also give you her name on TikTok. It's Susie, SUSIE _, and then she has a picture of a dolphin. That's her page. I absolutely love her messages. I've not heard every single one, but the ones that I hear, I love. And so much truth comes through her channel. And I wanted to make a message in support of one that she made last week. Not that she needs this, but it's good to hear that validation and just to hear another sister speaking up about sacred truth, okay? So I wanted to do this because when she shared the message that I'm going to refer to, the very same day I got the exact same message, okay? So 100% I could authenticate what she was saying, okay? So let's get into it. She made a message last week about divine law, okay? Divine sacred law, 111, as I said that, okay? And she said protecting children is sacred spiritual law. Sorry, I'm getting messages as I'm talking to you. Okay. And I'm going to talk about what she said in just a second, but I want to make a connection for you really quick, okay? My guides said sacred, sacral, okay? 144 as I'm saying this. Sacral in the feminine is the womb. This is divine womb law calling its power back. The divine womb standing for the children. The divine womb coming through in her rage and in her fiery truth, okay? And as sacred mothers, this is our divine assignment, okay? And there's going to be a full message in this, but I just want to bring attention to one thing that she said that was so beautiful, okay? And you can go listen to the whole message on her page. I think it's going to say Protecting Children's Spiritual Law, so you can find this message on her page. It's a beautiful channeled message, very powerful, very potent. Okay, but I want to bring in what I heard that day, okay? And she actually said it, so this is where the connection comes in, okay? So I had just read the full chapter of Matthew chapter 25 to my husband because of a message that Spirit gave me for him, which then also led to a message that I made for you guys about when God gives us power, okay? When we come into this world with an ability or multiple abilities, okay? What do we do with this power? How do we administer our talents, okay? And what the womb asks back from us because of what she gave to us, okay? What is our mother asking back from us, okay? And so in Matthew chapter 25, this is what I want to talk about because this comes up in her message too. There's 2 verses. The whole chapter is very interesting and insightful, but these are the 2 verses that I want to focus on for this message, okay? Verse 40, okay, and verse 44. All right. The king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine." Okay, remember Jesus stood for men and women and children. The true sacred Trinity, mother, father, child, okay? Masculine, feminine calibration. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Okay? Verse 45. Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. Spirit's talking while I'm doing this, so forgive me, I have to write something down. Okay. All right. All right, so in her message, she talks about when you harm a child, or when we, as a society, allow a child to be harmed. And by the way, I've said this so many times, I hope everybody gets it. It is in the everyday things, showing up for these everyday little ways that we stand up for children and for truth, okay, and for the feminine, where that this whole thing is gonna like disentangle, okay? So harming a child could come through ways that you would never ever think it. You know, it's like, it doesn't have to be this terrible, grotesque thing that we're seeing right now. This could be allowing systems to be put upon your child that aren't true. This could be inhibiting their creativity. This could be silencing their voice because you were taught that children should be silent while the parents speak. This could mean breaking cultural boundaries. I mean, starting to break those down. Sorry, I'm trying to get my words right. If those cultural teachings are harming your child. See, okay, like if you're in a culture that teaches that girls are not equal to boys, it's harming your child. Now, I understand that not everybody's in a situation where they completely can liberate themselves without endangering their life, depending on where you are in the world and what your circumstances are. This is why those of us that do have freedom of speech and that can say what needs to be said, we need to speak, we need to act. We need to do what we can, whatever that it looks like for everybody, okay? And that's different for everybody. My friend on TikTok, she just made a beautiful message, Bree. I'll tag her in this too. She made a beautiful message about not getting consumed in the heaviness or in the stories, especially if you are not in a position to actually take action on the liberating of these children, okay? All it will do sometimes is just bring you into such heaviness that you were not equipped for in this life. And won't necessarily serve the divine purpose, okay? It doesn't mean we refuse to see. It just means that know your boundaries and know your limits, okay? You don't have to sit there and like read every detail or see every horrible thing that's being done right now or that was done in the past to witness the atrocity, stand up for truth, and help us move forward into the new earth frequency, okay? So, you know, use discernment and take into account your own mental health and well-being with what you're able to handle. And I do think she gave a very powerful message on that. So I will tag her too in this, okay? So many beautiful people are sharing so many beautiful, divine, spiritual messages. So collaborating to me and networking is super important because we can help each other to get the message across, okay? All right, so what was done to the little one has been done to the father and the mother. Okay, let's talk about that. Because we know the divine is masculine and feminine. The divine is mother, father, child. It's the sacred all. It's all that is. It's everything. And it can represent anyone, okay? And so what was done to people that nobody paid attention to, because what I'm hearing is that, you know, these are people that were so impoverished, many of them. They were in such a state of financial and material lack that the community paid no attention to them. Everywhere, anywhere this has happened, okay? People without resources have been treated like nothing. But is that how God sees these sacred people, okay? This is what Mother is speaking up about. These are her children, okay? And so what was done to them has been done to her. What was done to them has been done to him. And this is why the father and mother, parental, sacred parent energy, okay, is now, you know, raging with the truth. So that the children can be, witnessed in their story. Many have crossed over. Their souls being healed right now is what I'm being told. But so that the real true story of the oppression and the enslavement of all of humanity could be witnessed, this truth is going to rise, okay? More and more and more and more. And I want to touch on that a little bit too, because my guides said, you know, what a lot of people don't understand what enslavement is and on how many levels it can exist in your life. And, you know, we think of the worst things when we think of enslavement, and that's only natural, I guess, because that's what has been programmed in the mind. But enslavement can look like the financial system being designed to keep you down. for one thing, interest rates, how difficult it can be for a person to have ownership of a property. That's a system, okay? It can look like improper taxes, extortion in taxation, okay? It can look like never being able to breathe or get ahead. And this is the majority of humankind, you guys. Like, this is like most people. And so the many layers of enslavement are being exposed right now. And that is so important. Okay? So this is a sacred process, this whole thing. But getting back to the children being so important. The reason why I love Susie's message, okay, is she talks about when a child is oppressed in any kind of way, any way, you guys, religiously, politically, sexually extorted, whatever, okay, what's really being attacked is the future, the potential, because children represent the potential of humanity. And the way she describes it is absolutely divine. So please go listen to that message. But when you start thinking of it that way, it really, doesn't it open your eyes as to why they've always attacked the children? The potential for humanity to flow, to arise, to be living in their sovereignty. Okay? So when she said that, it just hit like so strong. When a child is attacked by a dark entity, they're attacking the potential of humanity. This is why it's an everybody message. This is why it's an everybody story. Okay? And I want to add something to this message to bring light to something very important. If it helps in any way for you, Susie, or anyone who sees this message, as a hypnosis practitioner, I would like to share with you something that I've learned through so many sessions, you guys, hundreds, maybe thousands of sessions now at this point. It was something we've learned from the subconscious mind, from the higher mind, okay? That God connection that all humans carry, is that every soul has the potential to travel through time. Every divine soul connected to source can travel through time. Okay? And right now, we are actually being assisted by our future versions of self. The higher self is coming in essentially and assisting all of its incarnations. Okay? And how many incarnations you have at any given time is different for every soul. Okay? But the most advanced version of you is assisting the current version. Okay? And whenever Susie said that about the potential and the children in the future, I immediately got a vision, and that's what I want to talk about right now. And God showed me myself, okay, first of all, like when I witnessed the past life that I had as a young girl that was ritualized by the church, okay, and their attempt to take my power through dark ritual. And then God opened my eyes to how that attempt happened again in this life through sexual trauma, okay? And then God opened my eyes to all the different ways that darkness has tried to take my power in various lifetimes. And sometimes it was by people who were supposed to be family, okay? And even in systems that many people think are good systems, like my life in Egypt, that I remembered. I was attacked by the royalty of Egypt because of my spiritual gift. I was a threat to their throne because I actually knew the truth and I was very powerful, okay? So every system right now has entanglement. So I want to bring that to light. This is why I keep talking about it. Doesn't matter whether a nation or a religion or a system claims to be matriarchal or patriarchal, there's entanglement on both sides right now. And this is just what I see through the spirit, okay? And it's also what I witnessed in those past lives. Because in the life that I had in Egypt, where I was killed by essentially my aunt in that life, who was not related to me in this life, by the way. She was royalty, and she was threatened by me. And my mother in that life tried to save me, and she got killed too, okay? So this entanglement goes way back, you guys. Like this, their desperate need to hang on to somebody else or to oppress someone else, to elevate themselves. I mean, such an act of cowardice and weakness that someone else's power would threaten their own tells you how lost they really are, okay? Number one. But number two, when I started to witness these lifetimes, I was doing what's called soul retrieval. And some of it I was doing without even realizing I was doing it. I would see what happened, and then I would retrieve myself from that moment and I would heal. But later, through all my studies and all my work, I found out this is called soul retrieval, okay? And this is something that the higher self does to put you back together when you're ready for it, okay? And in this timeline, I was ready. And this is something that these children are going to be doing. I'm just letting you know that. And I guess this is a message of comfort at this point, if it brings you any comfort. Hopefully it does. That their souls, the souls of these children, are so powerful. And them witnessing this darkness and living this experience. What's the right way to put it, Spirit? How can I say it? Yeah, they're saying they will not forget this aspect of themselves and this experience, and they will retrieve the child from that timeline, okay? So this can be many timelines, you guys. So I know that we're seeing great atrocity right now in various places all over the world. But what I'm saying is a universal, timeless message that could apply to many and all timelines. That the souls are being activated right now to go and retrieve themselves, okay? Bring themselves back to wholeness, align, and rise as pillars of truth. Yes, the Magdalene is talking right now. The Magdalene says, she says, I am a tower of truth, a pillar of light for the oppressed and downtrodden. She says she stands in strength to give you space to rise. She says, I am strong so you can be strong. I hold this strength in my womb for all humanity. To remember their true origins and return to self. The kingdom is indeed within you, not outside of you. Worship no one. Bow to none. Light the way for others to see by rising in your true power. The teachings of sin and death are entanglements. They are not true. In other words, the idea of believing in religious construct, we should say false religious construct, because there are true spiritual teachings kind of hidden in every religion, okay? To disentangle from the lies, you have to be willing to let go, okay? A lot of this darkness that has been perpetuated on the planet is because of those false belief systems. And that was strategically done to confuse and entrap mankind, humankind, okay? So she's saying disentangle from construct that is not divine. Deep down inside, you will know the truth, and it will set you free. I am the way and the truth and the life. Yes, she says you enter into the kingdom of the heavens through the pangs of the womb. Being born on this planet is a rite of passage, a mastery in itself. Just even being portaled through the womb here takes mastery. This is why actually, yes, everyone here is powerful, whether they know it or not. The portal was entangled. She's talking so much right now. I'm trying to get it through. So just to get through the portal of the womb, because there was so much entanglement there, it's a stargate, okay? The womb is its own stargate. It was so entangled. Just to get through took mastery. She's talking about Christ consciousness and how it has always come into a collective. It has never come into just one being. And Jesus told me this too. that he was never just one Christ. There were always many. That's why Herod attacked all those children at one time. Okay? Remember, the darkness isn't stupid, even if it's ignorant. So, yeah, they're saying they have always attacked the collective because they know that powerful truths come through collectives. They come through the all, not the one, okay? The all together make up the one. This is why every perspective right now is important. Every person is important. Every journey. The way you chose to come in and experience Earth, each one of you in a unique way, exploring the feminine, exploring the masculine, exploring your creativity, being unique, being different, being an anomaly, or even conformity. Each one came in to study Earth in its own way. And there's bioenergetic information feedback that comes back to source as we do this. We are like receptor cells on the skin of God. And we're feedback information to source. She's talking right now again. Calibrating quite quickly, she says, right now. Hold on. I'm listening. Mm-hmm. She's saying, how can I translate this? Real truths can be shocking. Prepare yourself to embrace new concepts and ideas that you never thought could possibly be true. Not in a terrible way, but in a you've been deceived. Yeah, that's what she's saying. You've been deceived. You've been deceived. But it wasn't by the serpent, it was by the system. 2222, as I said that. You've been deceived about what truth is and what the divine story is here in this realm and others as well. What else do you want to say? Okay, she said that's it. So, right now, anyone who's experienced trauma in this realm, in any timeline, okay, is being retrieved and brought back to wholeness so that these pillars of truth can sync up. And this restores the grid, okay? And the grid is like the bones. Think of the bones of the universe, okay? And this is why dragon wisdom is so important, because it's ancient, an ancient archetypal structure of light that's constant and unchanging. Yeah. And that's important because if you look at information as feedback and you're bouncing, bioenergetic feedback off of something that's not a constant, that's ever changing, it can be difficult to calibrate what could potentially be true, okay? There's a lot of quantum physics. I'm getting like so many downloads right now. So when you're getting into quantum science, what is true can be very complex and ever changing, okay? And realizing that you are a quantum being and that you impact many realms at one time and many experiences, including your own reality, is super important right now, because this is how we're going to recalibrate what is happening here. So first we have to awaken and go through that process, which can be very difficult for some people. It was difficult for me. Witness our stuff, right? Witness our own bloodline, our own timelines. Witness the trauma we've been through ourselves personally, and even the trauma of our ancestors, okay? That alone is a rite of passage, and some people don't make it through because it's hard, okay? That has to be done first. Then, and I believe this is why some of us came ahead of others to do this, so that we could prepare others for these rites of passage and facing darkness and what it's like and how heavy it can be. And this leads me to another thing. My guides were talking about how many star seeds first awaken to the crown energy before they awaken to the root energy, okay? And so the crown energy feels completely different. It can be very euphoric. It's so enlightening. It's very joyful. But the roots carry the memories of your ancestral line, and that can be very heavy and difficult. A lot of people avoid it, which is not wise because it doesn't build a stable foundation within your light body, okay? But they avoid it because it's so hard to deal with. And this is why these messages, I feel that everyone's sharing, you know, not everyone, but those who are channeling spirit are so relevant right now, because we're sharing insight with you on how to get through this, how to come through it, how to face this darkness, stare it in the face, and learn to witness what happened to you and your people that you were born through, okay? Because even if you're not from this realm, even if you are like some far off starseed that came from some other place, which that can be your story, and I've done sessions on people who have that story, you still were born through an earth mother, and you carry that DNA of those people, and you came here to face that DNA. In fact, you had to agree to face it to come here. Okay, so all this is relevant to what's happening right now. Okay, I want to show you the cards that I pulled. First, the heart. Okay, the offering, the vision, and you see how it mirrors. Okay, the riddle, and you see the serpent energy and the Trinity. Okay, the mystery, the siren. Okay, and sirens to me carry so many messages. Okay, sirens carry many messages. Warnings, for one, right? Think of what sirens, sorry, I have to keep telling my kids that I'm on here. So think of what a siren does, okay? In our modern world, a siren is a warning. It's letting us know something, right? But in the ancient teachings, the voice of the siren was an irresistible song too, okay? That led to danger, okay? But I'm not getting that from this. And I'm also, of course, you see the mermaid's tail, right? You know, and this red stone is a very sacred symbol in many teachings. You know, red means warning, right? But if you took this as one message all by itself, what would it be? You know? A warning of what? Okay? So what came after it was the mother, the womb, the pearl, the wisdom, okay? And then the animal. And I've been talking about this all week, how important your primal instinct is right now. Yeah, I just feel like the sacred mothers, if you put this all together as the sacred mothers, okay, that womb space, the womb space, the heart space. Yes, they're showing me in nature, which is so different from what we sometimes see in humanity. But in nature, they're showing me like collectives of deer, okay? Let's just, like antelope, let's just pick antelope, okay? When they're being hunted and there's a lion, by sticking together, they survive and they protect the young. They put the young in the middle. They do not put the young out there, you know, to face these predators. They face the predators and put the young in the middle. Also, sometimes a lion will try to divide the herd to weaken it. You see that? You see that in humanity right now? They make everybody think the left is against the right and the right's against the left. They're making everything a political divide, an ethnic divide, a masculine-feminine divide. Everything's a divide right now. Why? To divide and conquer. So if we're wise, what will we do? Come together in the womb space and realize that we are all the children of earth. Brothers and sisters, what did Jesus say? Whatever you did to the little one, you did to me. Man or woman or child. See, he's bringing us together, and so is Mary Magdalene, as a collective body, while the darkness is trying to divide us. Okay? So we have to be discerning. We have to realize that if a person hasn't awakened yet and they're still acting through ignorance, that doesn't make them your enemy. It just makes them ignorant. Have compassion, pray, and be the truth. When it's time, they will also awaken. Okay? So I'm feeling this message also from the mothers. In nature, and this is like any animal I can think of. Maybe there's some that don't do this, but almost any that I've ever studied, the mothers and the fathers would give their life for the child, to save the child. They do not abandon their children. When I was little, I actually tried to save a blue jay that had fallen out of the nest. It's a kind of a funny story with me and my dad, and it's also to this day why he sends me blue jays as messengers for me. When he crossed over, he started doing that. But I didn't know not to touch the blue jay. I didn't know that the parents would protect it like on the ground. I thought if I left it there, a cat would get it or something. So I was freaking out. And I was little. I was like maybe 8 years old or 7. And I was crying. And I picked up the bird and put it in my bucket and brought it inside. Well, as I'm trying to bring it inside, the mother came and pecked me in the head 3 times. I mean, pecked me till I was bleeding. Pretty profusely from my head. And I go inside and my dad's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this baby bird, it fell out of the nest and I had to save it. A cat's going to get it. He's like, put that thing back. Its parents will fight for it. She does not want you touching her baby. And I'm like, what? And I was like, I can't go back out there. She's going to attack me. He said, put a helmet on and get out there and bring that baby back to its mama. And yes, I had a pretty tough childhood. If some of you guys haven't discerned that already through my stories, I put a friggin' helmet on, went back out there and put that baby bird back by its mama. And its parents protected it. And they would do anything for it. And blue jays are very great protectors. They're pretty aggressive too when it comes to their young, but you have to be, right? Wouldn't you rather hurt the feelings of an adult that may be innocent, right? But hurt their feelings then mistakenly ignore your child and allow someone to mistreat them. That's kind of how I view that, right? So I'd rather say to an adult, stop, leave them alone, back off, get back, and be wrong about the adult, but they'll get over it, right? Like, I got over it. I wasn't supposed to pick that baby up. That was her baby. Better for her to peck me in the head than take a chance that I was doing something I shouldn't do, right? Do you understand the message? Better to fiercely defend your children than to mistakenly offer them up to the predator. Okay? So take a lesson from nature, all of us. They come together. You know, the peaceful groups that are not predatory, okay? The way they survive is as a collective, they stick together. They run together, they graze together, they drink water together, and they protect the young. And that is our sacred duty, okay? And I don't know. I know there's a lot going on in this message, but I just feel like maybe it's going to come together for you all and help in some way. So, oh, I forgot one card. I'm so sorry. This was off to the side. The Pilgrim. And this message is already so long, I don't have time to read all of these for you. Like, I just don't have time for that. But I'm at least showing you the symbols, okay? And you can also discern some of your own messages from this as well. But when I see Pilgrim, I see someone who, you know, what I was told through Spirit, gosh, now maybe 8 years ago, about an ancestor of mine that came over from Europe a long time ago, okay? Because on my mother's side, we're descendant of Native Americans and Irish, okay? But on Dad's side, they're different. They're from Germany and other places. So when I asked my angels, why did they come here? Why did they come here? Because we have a very entangled story of what we think history is here. And one of my ancestors spoke and said they were running from something so terrible, so dark, worse than we knew. And that was whatever they were dealing with in England, by the way. And I'm only now beginning to see all the things that my ancestors were running from and why they came here, okay? And that's what I think of when I see Pilgrim. I see people who actually were also fighting for their lives, and then they all got entangled in the system too. And then by the time it comes down to us, it's all watered down and nobody knows what really happened, okay? But you don't you know, if you think of like a true immigrant, like someone who flees their country to go to another place, and just really think about how hard that is to leave your motherland, to leave the place you love and try to make a home in a new place. That's not done so lightly, okay? It's done because of survival, typically. And so there's a lot I think of when I think of this message. I also think of pioneers and people who are willing to brave new worlds. So if we were to give that message like a positive spin, we are braving the new world of New Earth. And it's going to require radical change. It's going to require radical love. It's going to require radical truth. And yeah, we need to be brave and courageous. And yeah, many times when you do this, when you speak up in truth and fierceness, and I've had to do it for many people, for many times, many people over the years, especially when I was in ministry, I helped a lot of people get out of very dangerous situations, okay? Oftentimes, all it takes is for one person to stand up and be strong and be fierce, okay? And others will follow. So I think it's going to be good, you guys. So as much as this message might still be a little heavy, I hope it brings you hope. And I hope it lets you know that we can do this, okay? We came here knowing that we were stepping into a dark place that needed illumination, and we are illuminating it, okay? We are bringing light to it. We are showing how the sacred ways have been entangled, distorted, and misused. The sacred symbols, the sacred rites of passage, our sacred portals of the body, all the things, okay? All connected to the sacral, to the womb, okay? So, all right. Is there anything else you guys want to say? That's it for now. I hope this message makes sense. I'm going to try to tag my two friends in this message so you can listen to their messages, because I believe together we are more powerful and impacting, and also we each have different ways of expressing truth, and it can, you know, something from their message may also be important for you to hear, and to hear it in a different way can be important as well. So I hope this helps. I love you guys so much. Bye.